Welcome to this week's PTC Talks, where we are honored by having Ravi and Vinak from Tata Consulting Services here for a session on automotive embedded validation processes orchestration with Codebeamer. But first, a very quick introduction about me. My name is Torbjörn Peterson, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC in the Nordics, and we are running these webinars on Fridays every week, where we also invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And all the past webinars have been recorded and are to be found on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by myself, and then Ravi and Vinak will run the show by introducing themselves, and also touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain some of the business outcomes. And at the end, we are having a Q&A session as always, so please keep your questions to the end, or you could also put them in the chat, and we will pick them up later during the Q&A session. So now over to the session here. So PTC is a global software company with a headquarters in Boston, and we provide market-leading solutions on IoT, augmented reality, PLM, SLM, ALM, and CAD through the digital thread to help companies to accelerate their digital transformation. So now over to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Peterson.
Thanks.
So this is Vinayak. Today's discussion will have three elements. We'll just quickly introduce ourselves. Who are we? Then we'll have a deep dive in a topic of of interest today, which is basically how one can orchestrate the overall validation management or automotive validation process with Codebeamer. As nowadays, if you see in industry, the Codebeamer or ALM is a focus. And then to address this, we'll have a quick demonstration. So I'm Vinayak, along with Ravi. We basically lead ALM practice at TCS. We are TCS, which is basically leading IT consulting organization across the globe. And there is no need to introduce like TCS as an organization which is working over the years now, like we are in a journey of 50 plus years. As a part of TCS, we are part of IoT and digital engineering division, which basically focuses on developing intelligent products, converting or transforming the plants like digitally to make them connected, and then like bringing in the connected services and tying these three things together, which belongs to a digital thread, which basically comes with the PLM and ALM aspects of an industry. So as a Codebeamer, if you look at, we have been working in this space over the years from a perspective of like if you look at the service offerings, we work from building overall strategy to overall implementation of a Codebeamer as well as support migration in this space. And from the capability perspective, we basically enable end-to-end capabilities of ALM space, which starts right from the requirements getting converted into the design, then validation, and then release. And basically, when we talk about a Codebeamer platform, it is not just the individual Codebeamer tool, but integrating Codebeamer across different set of tools, be it Git, be it Jenkins, be it Artifactory, to basically provide integrated environment for customer. And we work across multiple domains, be it automotive, healthcare, or industrial machinery. So let us get into the today's topic of interest from a perspective of how we can orchestrate the embedded software validation process with Codebeamer. I would like to start with what are the today's trends if we look at from a validation perspective. As today, automotive industry is focusing on developing autonomous vehicles, like bringing in the concept as feature on demand, or maybe like connected car or a software defined vehicle. What it means is it is increasing a pressure more and more on validation, more and more demand on validation is there, because basically to address your compliances to address the aspects like cyber security or maybe your functional safety. Also, this is because the lot of validation is increasing. It is basically like bringing in a need of virtualization in a validation. Basically, how we can shift left the overall validation, like starting a validation right from the requirements, then need of continuous integration, how one can continuously validate and deliver the software. Fourth aspect, what we see in validation is how one can do impact based analysis. If certain set of requirements or a feature is changing, how we can do only that much of a validation, which will basically reduce the overall like money and validation time. And then a need is how whole of this validation gels into the compliance audits, and then how we can store and retrieve uh, like these validation reports from the compliance perspective. Now, basically, the industry needs the solutions to address the challenges. But if we take a step back, where let us look at what are the today challenges in managing this overall validation. One, definitely what we see is there is a uh, uh, there is no single tool which manages the whole of overall orchestration of validation, which is like right from like writing the test cases scripts till managing your reports, and that definitely affects the quality from a business perspective. So similarly, we see like a tracker like lack of traceability among the requirements as well as test cases, which is impacting your cost as well as quality of a software what you deliver. So the point is we need to address the challenges with the integrated way of working, and that's where is a today's topic, how we can address this by using a solution like Codebeamer. So there are six elements what we see which needs to be looked at when we try to address this validation management problem. One is uh, a single tool which will orchestrate or which will structure and enable the authoring of test cases and test plans, then execution of these entire test cases by integrating the ALM platform like Codebeamer with different kind of test frameworks, be it your NI test and be it DSpace, be it other tools like Vector. Third is in whole of this a validation process, orchestration of CI, which will be driven by ALM platform. Then once whole of this is under umbrella of ALM, the validation reporting and then dashboarding completely automated and driven by a platform. External collaboration, definitely supplier sharing their validation reports back to OEM, and OEM sending the issues to supplier. And lastly, how whole of this platform can be leveraged to basically reuse those validation artifacts. So we see these are six solution elements needs to be looked at and implemented with when we manage this validation management as a solution. If we look this from a perspective of a Codebeamer as a solution, what we see is Codebeamer as a central piece of this entire puzzle, like managing the elements together and trace together, and Codebeamer getting integrated one side from authoring perspective, maybe authoring of test cases in Excels and getting that those test cases with some automation in a Codebeamer, then complete like driving a CI through Codebeamer and pushing the results back. Other side is basically your hill side, getting Codebeamer integrated with hills, where the test run getting authored in Codebeamer, getting pushed basically on these hill platforms. Hill platforms or benches running those test cases and results coming back through these automations to Codebeamer. So this is what we see, a solution where Codebeamer orchestrating the whole overall approach of validation management. Now we will demonstrate this solution uh, through through a solution demonstration where we will cover four major elements. One is your embedded unit validation, how this unit validation happens when your unit code or unit module gets checked in into your SCM and whole of this getting triggered by CI. Then once your feature code and integration is delivered, how this delivered integration gets executed on hill and report comes back to Codebeamer by integrating all these elements together. Now with this, I will hand over it to Ravi to basically demonstrate this solution on Codebeamer platform.
Thanks, Vinayak. Let me know if my screen is visible.
Yes.
So what we will do now is I will demonstrate a short video which will talk about, we have taken a feature from ADAS, which is a lane keep assist, and we will drive you through the entire process, right from the unit testing to integration to the hill testing. And the entire orchestration we have done on Codebeamer, integrating with the various toolchain, what I will talk about. So I'll skip this. I think this Vinayak already spoke about this one. So basically, these are the four elements what I will talk in my demonstration today. So here these are the first element, which is the basically the unit testing typically done by the development team. Okay. So this is where the unit or the module is created. I mean, it could be a model-based development or it could be hand code. Okay. And then based on that, basically, I mean, you would be executing those unit tests on certain environments, depending on whether it is a MATLAB or a handwritten code. And then you will author the test cases. And these test cases, typically what we have seen is written in Excel. And this Excel, how we can integrate and how we can bring that data into Codebeamer, that will demonstrate. And typically all the artifacts from a unit testing, they are basically stored in SCM. So this is Codebeamer. So here we are demonstrating the software developer. He has started working on the model. Basically, this is the GPS localization model. So he has developed the model and he has checked into Git. Okay, so this is where he is checking into Git, and then he starts adding the model elements in the MATLAB. Okay, so this is the whole model what you are seeing out here. Yeah. And once he is done, basically he's checking that model into Git, and when he commits, basically he adds this software detail design element, which is a part of the Codebeamer. So basically he's adding the ID of that what you see out here. So when he commits this, basically the model is basically linked to the software element in Codebeamer, so that there is a traceability that is established of the model with the requirement. Okay. And from an ASPICE perspective. So this is the Git repository where the model is basically stored. Okay. So this is the model file what you see out here. So from a Codebeamer, basically you can trace back to that particular model through the a commit that you did from the Git and the integration that exists of Codebeamer with the Git. So I can trace back to the model element. So this is what we are showing out here. Okay. And then we are adding all the information of the model in the detailed design. Okay. So that everything is available in Codebeamer. Once the modeling is done, so basically here I'm demonstrating how that model is taken from a model in the loop testing and the software in the loop testing. Okay. So what you see out is the implementation model, and basically typically the test scripts, they are in Excel. Okay. And this Excel is basically given as an input to your environment, and then it gets executed on the Jenkins platform or any CI platform, and then basically the results are generated and it is pushed into Codebeamer. So this is what we will demonstrate out here. So these are the unit test cases that has been created. So ideally, from a unit perspective, I mean, you will not create all the unit test cases in Codebeamer. Just at a module level, you will create one test case here, and the remaining, the detailed one, will be actually in the Excel file that will show out here. Yeah. So this is the test cases which is authored in the Excel file. So if you see out here, the test case is authored in Excel, and there are a lot of details out here. So there are 3 test cases which we need to push into Codebeamer. So the user basically adds the requirement ID, and when he commits this particular file, and this is the detailed test cases, there are a lot of steps out here. So when this is committed into Git, so basically that's where the trigger is run, and it basically goes and creates the test case in Codebeamer. Okay. So this is where the trigger runs on the Jenkins pipeline. Okay, and the test cases are created in Codebeamer, and also it executes those test cases. And if you see how it is pulling all the information from the Git and doing the run test cases. Okay, so this is the test cases that got created out of the integration. So also it adds a link to the requirement. So that is what we are showing here, the verify. So this is again a link of the commit that has happened, so that we can trace back the element of the test cases to the test case work item in Codebeamer. So on the update, it actually also updates the Excel through the integration, so that way the user knows what is the test case ID in Codebeamer. So basically now the developer is basically committing to the integration branch. So this is where again the trigger is fired on CI pipeline, where it is running or executing the test, the model in the loop testing. It goes through all the test cases within that Excel, executes that, and basically it goes and it creates the test run in Codebeamer through the integration. So this is the model in the loop test run that has been executed, and some of the test cases have failed, and the overall the test run has failed here. So this is what has been updated in Codebeamer.
Exactly. No, I got.
So when the fail happens, so basically there is a bug that is created automatically, and now the developer has gone and fixed that bug. Okay,
Oh,
and
so
then again the test run is executed on the Jenkins, and that is where the issues are fixed, and then the rerun happens of the test case, and the test case is passed. So this is how the whole unit verification happens through the Codebeamer, and all the information comes back to the platform so that it could be traced and tracked. So once your unit testing is now done, that is where you will go and basically test the software integration or a qualification test, and this is where you will basically run it on some bench or a hill platform. Okay, so with the test case, you have the reference to the test scripts as well. Okay, so all the test cases are authored in Codebeamer here from a software integration or a qualification perspective. Okay, so this is what we demonstrated out here. So once the test cases are available now, this is where the test cases are available in the Codebeamer platform. Now the test engineer, the Hill platform engineer, basically he can download that test cases. We have actually developed a tool called as Test Exchange tool, where the engineer can go, he can connect to Codebeamer, get all the information of the test cases. It will convert to an Excel file, and that is basically taken to the Hill bench. Typically, Hill bench uses Python to basically read those Excel, run the test cases, and basically put those result back into the Excel. And then through this exchange tool, again, you can push it back into Codebeamer. Okay, that's what we'll demonstrate. So what we are saying out here, typically the platform or the framework of testing can be anything. So this tool can basically extract that data, and then you can use that data and convert it into your format. So we are not disturbing your environment or the way of working. Okay, so there is only one thing that comes is this tool which will connect to Codebeamer, and you have to extract the data. So that's where the user intervention would be required. Whereas the other thing will be as usual what the typical test engineer does. So this is where we are running the tool. Okay, so this is the TCS tool developed, which integrates with Codebeamer. So I'm creating a test run. I'm selecting a project. Okay, and it gives me all the test cases what I need. So I can do a pick and choose. I can select test suite, and here I'm selecting which directory it needs to export. So basically, all the test cases that are in Codebeamer are exported to the uh, uh, to your desktop or any of the servers where the test execution. So this is a test case that has been exported out, and the test is not yet run. And it also creates a test run with all those test cases that you extracted out from Codebeamer. Okay, so this is yet to be tested. So now the engineer, he takes that Excel, he basically uses his whatever converter to convert it into his format, and then he runs the test, and the test cases are executed, and then he goes and uploads it through this tool. So this is the test run results. Yeah, so he selects that and he uploads, and this is where the results are pushed back into Codebeamer. And if you see out here, the tool basically goes, it puts all the information of each test cases as well as the test run. So this is how the integration of your various platform can be done with Codebeamer. And these are the various tool chain what we are used for the today's demonstration. Yeah, so this is a short video we wanted to show our
Yeah,
solution.
thanks. Yeah, thanks, Ravi. And like this is what we wanted to show was that how the overall integrated platform can be built around Codebeamer, like basically to manage your validation and verification process. So let me pause here and over to Peterson. If we have any questions, maybe we have just 7 minutes. If any questions we have, we can go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Ravi and Vinak, for sharing this very interesting topic and doing the demos here. So let's see what kind of questions we might have from you in the audience here. Just raise your hand, or you could put the question in the chat, and we will pick them up here. But I think I had one first here. Does this also address automotive SPICE processes?
Yes, yes, yes. It addresses your SPICE processes, your software, as well as systems V, both the processes it covers. Yeah.
Right. And another one here was around, can we actually integrate Codebeamer with custom test frameworks?
Yeah, yes, because what our experiences are, each customer has their own test frameworks, and then users are not willing to maybe change those frameworks because these frameworks are very well established and getting the results what what as expected. So like that's where we say that those frameworks will remain as is, but we can get integrated with Codebeamer to get the test cases or test runs from Codebeamer from execution, and be pushing the results back so that one can establish the entire traceability and track the traceability from SPICE perspective in Codebeamer.
Thanks. And one other question was around, what is the typical test cases? Let me see here. I just dropped it down here. Let's see. What is the typical test cases and test run volumes managed through this tool?
See, if you look at if I am if I am at a software V, okay, then typically your unit test cases are very less because actual unit test cases detailing and data like remains in SCM, and then representation of those test cases will be done at a Codebeamer level. But as I move up from a software qualification perspective, yes, those test cases for some features we have seen those test cases like in number of hundreds as well as in thousands as well. So that could be managed.
Okay, thanks. And new question here. How are you integrating test results from software like Codebeamer to system level?
Can you repeat? I think I didn't
Sure.
get.
How are you integrating test results from software like Codebeamer to system level? Maybe you, yeah.
I'm not clear actually this question.
Maybe Magnus,
Ravi?
you could elaborate on that. I think, it was a question from you, Magnus.
Yeah, Magnus, if you can little elaborate that, I think
Yeah.
it would help. Yeah, we will reply.
You should be able, to speak up if you can. We could
Yes,
take another.
I can clarify the question. If
Fantastic.
you have this system with the hardware in the loop and so on, there is a larger system level above this. So Codebeamer, how does Codebeamer integrate the test results and the test plan into the larger, higher level?
Thanks.
Okay, see, there are again the way we see is that from a Codebeamer as a solution perspective, we need to say at what level organization would like to use Codebeamer. So for with some customers, what we have seen is customers manage like use Codebeamer to manage your systems view as well as software view both. Where if you look from a left side perspective, your product feature definition, then decomposing that to the functions, and then individual system subsystem, and then component like requirement, whole thing gets managed in Codebeamer. If that is the case, then your validation also comes into the picture, and that entire validation can get managed in Codebeamer. But now, when we look at a validation management, there are multiple aspects. One aspect, the way I think what you are saying is predominantly maybe like managing of the test benches as well as maybe managing the test work requests and all. So what we see is that that aspect does not get managed in Codebeamer. That like typically that gets managed in some other system, which is inbuilt system for an organization. But post execution, the results or maybe the execution can be back in Codebeamer basically to establish the traceability. I don't know, does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, there will be another test system on a higher level, which in this case would be to validate the car as a complete system.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Good answer. So let's pick another one here. Why is Excel needed?
Yeah.
Could you establish that? Yeah, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Yeah, see, typically what we have seen with customers is that, see, over the years, customers are writing those test cases and test data in Excel. So we are not recommending that. What customers are saying is that that's the approach they have. And what they are saying is that that becomes easy for them to author the test cases than get into a tool like Codebeamer and author the test cases. So that's where what we are saying is, if you want to continue with your way of working, fine, like not a problem, you go ahead with it. And then through some automation, we can bring it back to Codebeamer. I think
And
Ravi,
to
if you
add
want to
to
add.
add to what
Yeah,
Vinayak is also
yeah.
saying, if you look at the unit test cases, I mean, typically you will have a model like I showed the GPS. For that particular model, there will be hundreds of granular level test cases. So typically our experiences will not bring all those granular level that would stay in the Excel. There will be just one representation, one test case in Codebeamer, and then there will be a link to that Excel through those whatever SCM link. So that way there is a traceability. And it becomes very complex also because typically those test cases only have some values and all. It is not like a typical test case. So that's where our experience, what we are saying is just bring those higher one test cases for those 100 test cases into Codebeamer. So that way it is manageable and also helps from a reporting perspective.
Just to summarize a little bit here, I mean, what are the biggest sort of, benefits and advantages by using Codebeamer, your point of view?
One definitely is today, if traceability is a problem, spice reporting is a problem, that definitely you can bring in like through Codebeamer. Other thing is uh, like managing a complete development life cycle, which typically what we see with some of the customers is distributed across multiple tools. So that entire orchestration and collaboration can definitely be handled by Codebeamer.
Thanks. And unfortunately, the time is running out. So many thanks again, for everyone joining this call here. And of course, a special thanks to you, Ravi and Vinayak. So with
Thank
that,
you.
I hope to see you back already next week for the PTC talks about from data to decisions with Textile Oleus and Integral PLM. So stay tuned for that and have a fantastic weekend. And maybe it could be, that you could stay a little bit longer just to catch up on a few of the questions in the chat. So otherwise, we will just, collect them and try to do the best, to get back and answer your questions you had here during the session here. So thank you everyone for joining. Take care. Bye bye so far.
Thanks.